Good morning. I want to welcome all of you who have already joined us, to Tony and Beth and Rose and Alexander and Beto and Elise. I want to thank you for coming. And if you want to put in the chat what city you're in, it would be really great. And I'd also like you to put in the chat as we wait for other people to join us, what your goal was, if you want to share that, and if you were in Q1. You'll notice that I have put a replay up there in the chat box. If you didn't attend Q1, then you can go up and grab that replay. When this is over, you can download that replay. Because this definitely does add on to what we were doing. And I'd also like to make sure you can hear me loud and clear. So if you can, then go ahead and put in the chat box. You can put in the chat box of if you can hear me well. Oh, Oakwood, Georgia. Thank you, Tony. That's great. Did you have a chat? And April, hi. How are you both doing? Did you have a special goal that you worked on that you want to share with us that you can reinforce with our visualization today? Alexander, Brooklyn, New York. Yes, thank you. Good. I'm glad to know that you can hear me well, that everything's working. You have to make sure the system is working before we start this. So does anyone else want to share? We've got a few minutes here before we start. Officially, we have started in welcoming you all and thanking you for coming. And I want you to be able to use that chat today. I'll have to go look at it, but you're welcome to put items in there as we go along, as we go through the goal setting process, as we go through this visualization process today. And it was really exciting for me to revisit some of this information on visualization and understand how powerful it can be in our lives. And if you have friends that might miss it today but registered, it will be sent out to all who registered, the replay link. And if you are interested in sorry, my clock's going off at 12 o'clock telling me to start. And I will be posting the replay and sending it out to people. So take advantage of it and let people know about this powerful concept of visualization. So I think we are ready to get started with this. And I am so grateful to you who have joined us today. And I want you to know that this visualization is a powerful step in reaching your goals. And one of the things that has come out to me on visualization is that if you set Q1 goals and you're excited about your Q1 goals and you worked on them, and now you need a little more discipline, a little more perseverance to keep going, then this is the right webinar for you. Because if you set those goals and then you don't keep going, you've wasted all that time and energy and that mental effort that you put into the goal setting. So I really do want you to implement the things that we're talking about today, to internalize them, because it can help you reach those goals that you felt so serious about in January. So I guess you could put in the chat box, are you still going on your goals, or do you really need this to keep you focused? Because that's our goal here. Okay, so as we go through this, I love this quote by John Naisbitt. John Naisbitt, of course, is an American author who wrote Megatrends. And what's amazing about John Naisbitt is that his book, Megatrends, 10 New Directions for Transforming Our Lives, was on the New York bestseller list for 2 years. And it was usually #1. And he said that the vision becomes a catalytic force, an organizing principle for everything you do. So with this said, goal setting and visualization are connected, and you visualize something better in your life when you set your goal. Now is the time to visualize the details that will ensure you reach your goal. And I think that's an important concept for us as we want to be recommitted to our goal setting. Now, It's hard to climb a ladder if the rungs are missing, and you will suffer if the steps you've chosen to reach your goal are not clear. So we want to visualize each step. You did the tactical and strategic thinking and the tactical planning in the last webinar, but now we want you to look at each one of those steps and specifically imagine yourself accomplishing that goal. And you have to make the picture vivid, and you want to put in as many details as you can as you visualize this. And you'll see shortly why this is important for you. So let's just review Q1 for a brief minute here. Remember, we talked about right thoughts and right actions. And I gave you the book, As a Man Thinketh, and I have that ready to put up today. I think I can get that for you as well here. But if you can't, email me and I'll send it to you. As a Man Thinketh, and we talked about, because As a Man Thinketh was written by James Allen in 1903, and what it does is talk about what thoughts you have can come out in reality. It's as a man thinketh, you become, because you can't travel within and stand still without, is the premise of that book. We talked about the negative and the positive pulls on you every day. Remember, I said that the negative and the positive are in parallel every single day, and you make the deciding vote whether you're going to go to a pity party and feel sorry for yourself and key into the negative in life, or whether you're going to be positive and go forward with the opportunities that come to you. We talked about belief in yourself, and I gave you these goal-setting sheets. If you'll remember these, hopefully you all worked on them and you checked them out. And you can download this again and put Q2 in there. And notice you make a goal statement first, and it has to use the SMART acronym. And then you will put in the time frame of when you're going to reach this goal or continue reaching the goal. And then you come down to the strategic thinking, which are lead indicators. And they lead you to the goal, because remember, the goal is the lag indicator. And then you make tactical steps. And remember, these tactical steps are what go on your to-do list. Hopefully you can get it down that far. This is just a reminder of what the acronym SMART stands for. And this was from the Lion's Share Federal Credit Union, wherever that is. But I thought those words were excellent for us to remember. So to summarize the goal setting for Q1, we focused on deciding your professional or personal long-term goal. I decided to achieve the goal. In other words, there's a difference between just making a resolution you're going to do it, but then actually deciding this is something I am going to achieve. Make your goals SMART, plan lead indicators and lag indicators. Lead ones, remember, lead you to the goal, tell you if you're going to reach it or not, and lag indicators say, I reached the goal. We taught you how to use strategic thinking, tactical planning, and then to make the tasks that go on your to-do list on specific days. So that was all Q1. So goal setting allows you to take the necessary risks to stay on the cutting edge. And it also helps you take responsibility for constant improvement. And it helps you fine-tune performance for exceptional achievement. These are the reasons why you want to do goal setting. This is a quote that I found years ago, and it made me stop and think. It says, every good and excellent thing stands moment by moment on the razor's edge of danger and must be fought for. And I thought about that in context of what we're doing today. Your goals are good and excellent, but it stands in the moment here. Are you going to go forward and continue to reach those goals? Or are you going to let them fade away? And as I said, don't let them fade away. Stand on that razor's edge right now when you're in danger of perhaps losing that, and fight for this goal that you thought was so excellent in January. That's my advice to you. And when you think about it, goal setting for Q2, we're going to continue, or you may be starting new goals, I'm not sure. But the visualization is going to be an amazing experience for you to realize how powerful it can be to help you reach these goals. So when we look at that, I take you back years and years ago to a book called Psycho-Cybernetics, if I can get that out right. It was by Maxwell Maltz, and it was published in 1960. And it has several different titles there. You notice that it says A New Way to Get More Living Out of Your Life. And the book I bought said a new technique for using your subconscious power. So what we're trying to key into here is the subconscious power of your that is in there with the visualization. That's what you're taking advantage of, is this subconscious power. So what it tells you in psychocybernetics is that you have a success mechanism in your brain and your nervous system. And this makes up a servo mechanism, what they call. And if any of you have been in the military or associated with military, then you understand what it means. Because a servo mechanism is a goal-seeking, goal-striving device, like a guided torpedo or a missile. And once it's locked on its target, it seeks it out. It reaches its target. So applied to goal setting, the brain and the nervous system work together to seek out your targets. What are your goals? They guide you and steer you in the right direction to achieve your goals, just like the self-guided torpedo or the missile. Now, this may help you understand how valuable visualization is, or the goal-setting process, but also it helps you understand that you, as an individual, as a human, are a goal-seeking device. You look for ways to improve, to be better. And what happens is that you have to understand that they will steer you through what you must do to reach your goals, but it also helps you understand why you're happy. Why are you happy when you're making goals and when you're progressing? And sometimes there's a phenomenon that when you reach your goal, it's like a big letdown. It's like, the anticipation or reaching the goal was better than actually achieving the goal. And then what happens is you start making new goals, and you keep going on through life. So since, as I spoke and said that the guided missile has sense organs in it that keep the missile or the torpedo informed. In other words, it keeps it if you're going off to the left or off to the right. So the guided missile literally gropes its way to the goal. And if it's too far to the right, it will correct it and take it back to the left. Now, I think this is important to understand that we're the same way when it comes to goal setting. And the reason I have the airplane up there is because airplanes can be off 95% of the time. If they're flying from New York to LA, they can be off course because of this principle. Because what happens is it'll steer off course to the left and it will self-correct back. And then it might steer off to the right and it will self-correct. So in these little adjustments, it's off course. I think you can relate that to your goal setting process, because when you start your goal and you go forward with this goal, you may veer, you may think, oh, I need to go here. And then if that doesn't work out, you come back to your original goal or you go another way. But an example of veering off to the left or right is choosing a college degree. I don't know how many of you went to college and started a degree program and then you said, nah, this is not for me. Or you went through a program and when you got out and you started in a career, then you maybe started in a career very different from what you went to school for. And so as you reach your goals, as you look back in your past life, you can see how it's not a straight path to success, but you veer and you make adjustments as you go along, as you learn and you reach ultimately. Remember, we're striving for this self-actualization in our life, or how good we can feel about ourselves. I have to tell you a quick story about this. I have a good friend who went to medical school. She's a very smart woman. And in her second year of residence, she discovered that she did not like people. And so she solved it becoming a forensic pathologist. And now her email is a letter I and then letter C. And then so it comes out I see dead people. So it's I and then C and dead people. And I've always thought about that, how intelligent she was to go to medical school and then to realize that she didn't like people. So you can see how we self-correct as we go through our life and as we try to reach our goals. Now, so the question is, do you need to adjust your goals now? Are they on course? Are they veering to the left or the right? And can you do that with this visualization? Can you get it back on course with what we're talking about today? Because there are two types of survival mechanisms. One is where the target is known, and one is where the target is not known. So type 2 works like the electronic brain, which can function automatically to solve problems and give you answers to problems that you have. They can provide you with new ideas or inspirations. That's the survival mechanism type 2. And what this means is that when you have a problem, a challenge on your way to reaching your goal, and you don't know quite what to do, then it's like you could sleep on it. I don't know how many times I've had a challenge and I didn't know what to do, and I slept on it and woke up the next morning and I knew exactly what to do. So that's type 2. Type 1 is what we're actually talking about today. It's because you know your target, and this is the one that guides you to success. So now you know your goal, you visualize it. And this gives you empowerment because you can see many things that you can do to move in the right direction. It keeps the goal in the forefront of your mind. It focuses your willpower, and it creates belief in you, belief that you can reach this goal. So what we're talking about today is visualizing now these steps. We want to break these down and visualize these tactical steps, and they go on your to-do list. So you can visualize your day. Now, another concept before we get to actual breaking these down is that visualization is about generating this mental picture that helps you achieve your goals. The right visualization techniques help you to succeed no matter where you're going or what you aspire to achieve to. I remember, let me do one more slide here. I remember a story that I experienced. Actually, I heard the sports psychologist speak. And he said that John Smoltz, I don't know if you remember John Smoltz, but he was a Braves pitcher, Major League Baseball pitcher for the Braves. And he had a horrible first start of the season. And then at the All-Star break, this sports psychologist came in and made him a victory film of every single great pitch he had made. And he made him watch this victory film before he went out to pitch. And it was totally amazing what happened the second half of that season. He totally turned his career around just by visualization. So visualizing your goals help you focus your mind on what you want. And it keeps you from becoming distracted and losing focus because of, we have so many daily challenges that we go through that we have to refocus our mind on. It's quite amazing everything that happens to you in that process. And that's why, because you get so discombobulated, throughout the day with all the requests on you, that you have to at night just reorient yourself again to where you're going. So visualization is creating images in your mind that you are succeeding. And what's amazing about this is that your brain doesn't distinguish real from just imagining it. And I don't know if you've been following March Madness. I don't know if any of you are college basketball fans, but I don't know if you watched the game last night when Baylor destroyed Gonzaga. Now, Gonzaga had a perfect season before this game. And I don't know if you remember or not, but in the semifinals on Saturday night, they played UCLA. And the buzzer, at the buzzer, Jason Suggs of Gonzaga, they had, let me back up just a little bit. A UCLA player made a basket with 3.3 seconds left. Kispert grabbed the rebound and threw it. He lobbed it to Jason Suggs, who ran right over the half-court line and launched that basket from 40 feet. It went in, and they won the game. Now, it's called the most exciting finish to a NCAA game in decades, in years, perhaps ever. But what was interesting to me is when I heard the coach talk about it. He says, I knew it was going in. I knew it was going in because we practice that. Every single time we practice those last second shots. And he says, I knew it was going to go in. Now, there's a study done in 1989 where a woman was doing a research for her master's thesis in physical education. And she did it with basketballs and throwing free throws. Let me get that out right. what she did is she had 4 groups of people, 4 groups of players. One group, she had them go into the gym and just shoot free throws. The second group would visualize, just visualize. That's all they did. The third group visualized and then shot baskets. And the fourth group did nothing. Of course, at the end of the experiment, the group that did nothing had no improvement. The group that actually visualized, just totally visualized, had a slightly significant higher score than the one that actually shot. Now that's pretty interesting. But most interesting of all is that the group that visualized and then shot had the most significant advance in achievement in hitting their free throws. So this tells you that when you combine the physical practice or the muscle memory, and then you put with it your visualization, you have the best chance of reaching your goals. Because remember, the brain doesn't distinguish real from imaginary. And what you're doing is you're building these neural pathways in your brain that you can do it. You know, you're building those neural pathways that people can't really see, but you can feel as you go through. Now, visualization is creating these images in your mind of succeeding. And so how to do this? Well, number one, you have to hold your goal firmly in your thoughts. Now, this is difficult because if you've ever tried to focus on one thing very long, you know that your brain wanders and little things pop into your brain and it gets you off course. You know, it's veering you off the course as we were talking about. But you have to hold it firmly in your thoughts, then imagine yourself succeeding at this goal. And if doubts come up, such as, I can't do this just won't work, then you have to combat those with a positive mantra. A positive mantra means, I will succeed, or I can do this. Because you do not want negative thoughts in your mind when you're trying to reach your goal. So, I don't know how many of you have read Dr. Stephen Covey's book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, but it changed, I don't know if it changed the world, but it sure changed a lot of people. And his habit 2 is begin with the end in sight. Now, what he said is that people are working harder than ever, but because they lack clarity and vision, they aren't getting very far. They, in essence, are pushing a rope with all their might. And you know how futile that is, to just push a rope. So what I want you to understand is that beginning with the end in mind is this visualization process. So if you think, I don't know, can you visualize a new body like that? If you think, in order to reach my goal, I must have, do you see those words? In order to reach my goal, I must have. Then that's where all of your tactical items come in, your tactical tasks. Now, then you go to the strategic thinking and planning. You're going to lift weights to change your body, and then you do, these are all the tactical items you have to do. And then, of course, it keeps going on and on. So you see the thought process goes this way. What do I have to do to reach my goal? And the action process goes this way, because remember, you don't do a goal, you reach it through all of these action items here. So that's how you can visualize it. And of course, whether you're losing weight, whether you're trying to get better health, whether you're trying to get a job, whether you're trying to get a promotion, whether you're trying to get along with a difficult person, all of these things come into play with positive visualization and how positive visualization can help you. Now, I'd like to go to a tactical thing that I teach all the time in my time management programs, is COD, which is close out your day. Now, this is when you mentally create tomorrow. And when we say mentally create it, what you're doing is you're going through and you're checking off everything that you've done today and the things that you didn't get done, then you're moving it forward to tomorrow. So you're visually creating what's going to happen tomorrow. So as we look at this, I'll have to read this on the slide. It says, begin with the end in mind means to begin each day with a clear vision of your desired direction and destination. And then continue by flexing your proactive muscles to make things happen. And that means that you're going to be proactive in actually doing the things that are on your to-do list. Now, I want you to visualize productivity for tomorrow in big blocks of time. I don't know how many of you have a to-do list like this, but I've certainly had one of those before, and it's quite overwhelming. So let me go back here just one second. So what I'd like you to do is to visualize in big blocks of time, okay? And when you visualize in big blocks of time, then what you're doing is you're saying, in the morning, I'm going to achieve this. In the afternoon, I'm going to achieve this. And you might even break it into different spots, like in the morning, early morning hours, in the late morning, early afternoon, late afternoon. You might break them into those slots. But you know exactly what you're going to get done of a top A project. You know you're going to get it done in those time frames. You'll be amazed at what that does to you if you can visualize the flow of your day. So this is down to the real tactical part of visualizing productivity in the big blocks of time. Now, I'd like to bring up or go back to the mantra one more time, because you would think that these athletes that are so amazing, what are they doing when they're getting ready for their competition? You know, what are they listening? Are they watching the other competitors? Are they wondering how their competitor's going to do? No, they're not doing that. And Simone Biles is one of the most highly decorated gymnasts, and I don't know how people do those things with their bodies. I'm amazed at dancers, at gymnasts, and all these people that can do such great things with their physical body. But what visualization does is improve athletic performance, just like we talked about with the shooting the baskets and visualizing the free throws. So you can use this technique to visualize your goal. But what I want to bring out here is to eliminate your negative self-talk, because as we said, when you focus your mind on the end, or you visualize it, you don't visualize mistakes. So in other words, don't tell someone to take this dish and set it on the dining room table for dinner and then say, don't drop it, because that sets in their mind that they're going to drop it. So athletes never think negative thoughts, but they always think positive thoughts before they go out to compete. And I remember one year when a downhill skier, a young woman, won the gold medal, and they said, well, what were you thinking before you, were you thinking about the gold medal? What were you thinking about when you started your run? And she said, have fun, have fun, have fun. That's what she was chanting to herself. So eliminating the negative self-talk is very important to you, because how many times do you get started on your goal and then you think, I don't know, was I stupid to set this? I'm not sure I can really do this. And one of the things I teach in time management is that planning is the work of worrying. So instead of using this negative self-talk, just start planning. Maybe it has veered off, but you bring it back. And that's what's important to you. So you never want negative things to enter your mind when you're looking for your goal, because you should be using your brain to look for ways to improve. Now, these visualization techniques can be applied for motivation, for confidence, rehearsal, and you can see that all three of those reduce your anxiety. Because if you can visualize yourself in a difficult conversation with a person, then it's amazing how and say you're visualizing yourself in this difficult conversation, but you're thinking about what they would do. It's like playing chess with them, and you're thinking through your answers to them. So that reduces your anxiety when you actually go in to have that difficult conversation with someone. And it's the same way with reaching your goals. You get motivation and confidence because your brain is saying, you can do this, you can do this. Remember, it doesn't tell the difference between a rehearsal and an actual event. So once you have the neurons, once you have the brain cells and you have everything pointing in the right direction, then you have less stress when you actually hit that event live, or that task live. Now, the last steps I want to give you in the last few minutes we have here is to call this performance visioning. To control your future, you want to invent it. So you visualize yourself succeeding at your goal, and then you establish triggered visuals. Now, we've already done the succeeding at your goal part. We know how to do that. The triggers visuals, or the vigor, I don't know, when it talks about triggers, what it's meaning here is you can smell something and it will trigger all kinds of things in your mind about the past and what happened there. And what is amazing to me is if you can trigger things in your mind when you are looking for ways to get stronger in your goal, then you can maybe have a favorite song that plays that makes you feel confident. I remember years ago when the kids were playing ball, Little League, my husband would play the Eye of the Tiger, which would get them excited about going out and fighting on the field. So you have these established triggers as visuals or songs in your mind. Another way is to create a vision board. And I don't know if you've done vision boards before, but you get all kinds of pictures and then you place them on this board that you can see all the time. And the pictures are all inviting you to keep going for that goal. So if you're trying to lose weight, then you would have pictures of a beautiful body up there, or you would have pictures of really healthy food up on your vision board. Or if you're trying to get a new house, then you would have pictures up on your vision board of all the different houses and what type you want. You could visualize the goal that you have in your company of getting promoted and have visions of what that would do, like good team meetings and etc. So wherever you're going, and actually vision boards are a little more broad than perhaps what we're talking about here for just getting your task done or visualizing it. But the concept is still the same. You create a walking path, you might say, with your vision board. Then you use note cards and sticky notes to make your goals physical. Remember, the sticky notes is that you stick them on your mirror, you stick them everywhere to remind you about your goal. And you could use note cards that you're visualizing when you're walking or when you're doing routine work. So you want to rehearse potential situations. Like I said, if it's a difficult conversation, you can play chess with them. What would they say? What would I do? What's their move? What would I say? But you don't want to you don't want to forget to be present and to be actually processing what's happening in the moment. So then you visualize multiple potential options, which we talked about, because it's going to veer a little bit to the left or the right, or you might see new opportunities open up and you want to be ready to take them. And perhaps the last thing here is that I could say is to convert your desires into belief. Most people frame their visualizations as things they want to have happen rather than things that they are going to make happen. Remember, we talked at the beginning of this presentation how you don't have a resolution anymore. You have a decision to reach a goal. And so if you want to be successful, it's important to make that change and convert from just belief that it will happen into I will make this happen. You could make that your mantra. And so you just need to shift the way that you're thinking about it and be more determined than ever, be more persistent than ever to reach that goal. So the last little tip, and then I want you to put in the chat box what you might be working on, okay? So as you look at this, the last one I want to bring to you is to write yourself a check, okay? And I had to laugh because when I was researching some of this material, I read that the famous comedian Jim Carrey wrote himself a $10 million check dated 10 years in the future. And I'm sure he's reached that if you've watched anything that Jim Carrey has done, especially Dumb and Dumber. Okay, so write yourself a check. With that said, thank you for attending, and I can help you with private coaching, group events, in time management and goal setting, rational alignment of team members, DISC and driving forces, emotional intelligence, stress, and positive attitudes. And I would love to have you contact me for any of those topics that you would like to bring into your company. So if you'd like to put in the chat what your goal was and if you're moving towards it and what the visualization did to you, that would be terrific. Hi, April. Yes, I've enjoyed coaching Brittany. She's been a pleasure to work with. Oh, Mari says that she has her own business. Tony says, my goal is yearly, so I'm breaking it down by quarters to reach. Excellent. Thank you. So, Mari, when you have your own business, I know there's just tons of stuff you can visualize about that. Thank you for sharing that. Oh, you're writing a thesis. Good, good. That's going to take a lot of visualization, isn't it? Any other comments? Okay, well, I'm just going to wish you well, each one of you, and would love to have your email to tell me how it's going and how you're reaching your goals. So thank you for attending. Bye-bye. Oh, wait. Beth says, I like your ideas for visualizing your goals. What if your goal would be secret from others? How would you recommend vision board and sticky notes? Oh, if you want it secret from others, yeah, you're going to be a little tough with that. You're going to have to keep your vision board in your private drawer somewhere. Yeah, that would be tough if it's not for people to see, but you could still make it and keep it in a private place where you could open it up. I don't know if you have a private jewelry box or a private drawer where you keep information. I would put it there. And the same way with your vision board sticky notes. You wouldn't want to put your sticky notes on the mirror, but you could use the concept of the 3x5 cards, and you could hold them in your hand when you're walking by yourself, and visualize those things that are on those cards and put them in a place too that is private. Does that help, Beth? Any other comments? Beth says yes. Okay. Keep them secret, Beth, because there are some things you have to keep confidential and private to yourself. So keep them in that safe spot. Holly says, would you recommend placing your personal goals and professional goals on the same board? Oh, I think I would, because your life is meshed together. Your life is a totality. And it's just like calendars. When I teach time management, I say, don't really put a calendar on the refrigerator and then have your own private calendar in some digital place where you're keeping it. You can have one on the calendar if the family's going to coordinate from it, but on your personal calendar, you want all of those mixed together, meshed together, so one doesn't fall off, or the concept of plate spinning. You want to keep everything in one place. So yeah, I would say to put them on the same board. In fact, I've done a vision board and I put professional and personal together as well. So give that a try, Holly. I would try that. Any other comments? Okay, I really appreciate all of your participation. As I said, enjoy this beautiful spring weather, unless you have allergies. And hopefully it will be over soon, but enjoy this pleasant weather before we get into the heat of summer. Take care and look forward to hearing from you and looking forward to having you on my next webinar. Bye-bye.